This is the GTD Creos calling any allied ships. We've been attacked by GTI bombers. Weapons are offline, hull integrity critical. Request immediate assistance.
Oh my gosh.
Thank goodness you're here, pilots. Protect the escape pods. We have to warn the GTA. Creos down.
Mayday! 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 Gamma 1 of the 91st Phantom. Creo. Can anyone hear me?
Gamma 1. What's your position?
Creo's gone. Being attacked by Terran ships. What's the extraction?
Stand by, pilot. Notifying command. Heading to Creos left location. Sit tight. We're on our way.
Your fighters incoming. Try and get down and tight.
Signal huge reinforcements. Deploying Aether. We can't risk any more time here, pilot. We're jumping to a secure location and uploading our coordinates to your ship. Serpentis out.
This is Admiral Tess of the GTD Soyokaze. I cannot imagine what you must be thinking, pilots. To return to your command ship after what was to have been a great victory, only to find it under attack from your fellow officers. Though you fought valiantly, the Krios and most of her crew were lost. They died a bitter death, betrayed by the very organization they swore to defend. This development has grave implications for the future of the Terran-Vasudin alliance. Terran Command has already been notified of our situation, and will be updated as we debrief the survivors of the Krios. I will address the crew of the Soyokaze tomorrow with our findings. In recognition of your contributions to the Allied victory over the Shivans, the GTA has awarded you the Medal of Honor. Take comfort in the fact that, though your return is not as triumphant as it should be, we will never have to fear the Shivans ever again. At 05:25 hours this morning, GTA High Command declared a decisive victory over the Shivans in Ross 128 and IKEA. The species which annihilated the Ancients, which devastated Vasuda Prime, which nearly succeeded in driving mankind to extinction, has been defeated. Recon units have found no trace of any remaining Shivan activity. With the Shivans gone, we should be able to start rebuilding our shattered systems and working on forging a lasting alliance with the Vasudans. But there has been a terrible new development. While Allied forces throughout Ross 128 engaged the Shivans, fighters and bombers launched from the GTD Repulse secretly attacked, disabled, and destroyed the Krios. Only through the intervention of the Soyokaze were the survivors recovered. We believe the Krios was destroyed to cover up information it had gathered about rogue activity in the research and development branch of the GTI. Once we had contacted GTA High Command, the Repulse and the R&D fleet immediately sprung into action, pulling out of Ross 128 and heading to Delta Serpentis. Command has authorized all GTA units to consider these forces hostile and to capture or destroy them at any opportunity. Our agents have pieced together the events leading up to the Krios' destruction by analyzing the evidence salvaged from her. A summary of the report follows. The Krios' interrogations of the Einstein survivors suggest that research and development knew about the existence of the Shivans even before their initial appearance at Ross 128. Several science vessels, including the Einstein, were assigned to secretly study this new species and its technology. We believe the Einstein was deployed to Ross 128 and then reported destroyed so that the ship could continue its research operations without fear of outside supervision. While R&D was instrumental in enabling the GTA and PvE fleets to quickly close the technological gap on the Shivans during the Great War, events strongly suggested that the Repulse and its fleet were keeping their most significant discoveries to themselves. Based on the Einstein's appearance at the Vasudin research site in Deneb, Admiral Scott theorized that there could be an unknown number of ghost R&D ships conducting research unaccountable to the rest of the GTA. This theory was given further support when pilots from the Krios blundered upon a secret recovery operation in Ross 128 and came under fire from rogue ships. With the Krios slowly assembling evidence, the rogue elements grew in increasing danger of being exposed. The Repulse sought to destroy this information before it reached critical mass and soon found the perfect opportunity. With the Krios' fighter wings and support craft engaging the Shivans on Ross 128, the destroyer was left virtually undefended. The rebels launched bombers against the Krios while sanitizing several spec ops operations and jamming the transmissions of others under the guise of monitoring scientific data. Only the pilots attacking the SD Archon returned early enough to witness the destruction of the Krios, and it was only because of their quick thinking that we were able to recover enough evidence to implicate research and development. We have taken care to spread that information far enough that it can no longer be covered up. The silent threat has been forced into the open. We do not yet know the full extent of the insurrection, nor the rebels' motives or objectives. Unfortunately, our maneuvers against the Shivans have left our fleets at serious risk of guerrilla attacks from within. While the GTA consolidates its forces, the Soyokaze has been tasked with gathering all the data we can about the enemy's objectives. We cannot allow them the element of surprise. Report for mission briefings immediately.
At ease, pilots, and welcome to the 82nd Nighthawks. I understand you're still a little shaken up after the destruction of the Krios, but rest assured, the R&D rebels will get what's coming to them, sooner or later. Terran Command and the officers of the Soyokaze are still analyzing data regarding the R&D insurrection and preparing a counterattack. You'll be fully briefed when the time comes. A situation is developing in Delta Serpentis. Slipping behind our rear defenses, the Repulse launched a surprise attack against the diplomatic installations orbiting Delta Serpentis 4. Terran and Vasudan forces responded quickly, but by the time they arrived, the orbital annex of the Vasudan embassy was wiped out. The loss of life was less than would be expected from such an attack, but our communications with the Vasudan government have been thrown into disarray. Needless to say, the incident has not improved Terran-Vasudan relations either. Although the Repulse has since gone into hiding, the GTA isn't taking any chances. The survivors of the attack are currently being relocated to fortified positions within the Terran-Vasudan fleet. Diplomats, officers, and supply convoys are currently en route to a secure rendezvous point within the Delta Serpentis system, where they will be joined by the GTC Challenger and the PDC Bastet. Unfortunately, R&D has access to our fleet communications network, so it is quite likely that the convoys will fall under attack. You must defend the convoys until the Challenger and Bastet arrive. Once the cruisers have relieved you, you may return to the Soyokaze. Do not fail, pilots. Dismissed.
fighters?
Most of the fleet was caught off guard when R&D attacked. I'm sure the Vasutan fighters are off doing something important.
Yeah, like spying on us. If you ask me, we never should have let them into Delta Serpentis.
I didn't ask you. Shut up. They can hear you.
I don't care if they can. They can't do anything on their own. That's why they came running to us as soon as the Shivans attacked. That's why they need us to guard every one of their stupid convoys.
You have a loud mouth, Terran. If you knew the truth, you would not say such things.
Hey, I'll say whatever I want, fish lover. If it weren't for us, you wouldn't have a fleet to run home to. You couldn't even stop the Lucifer from glassing your planet.
Silent, that is enough. Your behavior is risking an interstate incident. Focus on your mission and maintain radio silence.
Roger, sir. On our way.
Engaging the enemy. Enemy wing has just arrived.
Rearming complete, sir.
All ships, warm up close and prepare to engage jump drives. Transmitting coordinates Now.
Good work, Alpha. Bring it in. I'm out of here.
Good job, Alpha. Thanks to you, the majority of the survivors were successfully evacuated. They have been placed under Allied protection, and the GTA is now working to restore ordered communication with the PVE. Your protection of the freighters ensured that the refugees were well supplied when they arrived at their shelter. Well done. Alpha 4 exhibited conduct unbecoming of an officer of the GTA and has been disciplined accordingly. Let me remind you that all pilots have a responsibility to adhere to the highest standards of behavior, especially in their interactions with Vesudans. With the repositioning of the GTA and PVE fleets in Delta Serpentis, the way is clear for our forces to begin the counterattack. The next briefing will be at 1400 hours this afternoon. Don't be late. The Research and Development branch of GTI has now staged an all-out open rebellion against the GTA. Terran Command reports that all R&D ships are pulling out of Allied operations and regrouping in Delta Serpentis and Beta Aquila. We suspect that the rebels are setting up rallying points throughout these systems, but they have proven quite adept at evading our efforts to track them down. Fortunately, the intelligence branch of GTI employs the most skilled reconnaissance and espionage operatives in the entire GTA. Scouts from the Soyokaze have located a major rallying point in a remote corner of Delta Serpentis, guarded by none other than the Repulse herself. Command has ordered us to capture the Repulse to determine the full extent of the insurrection. The operation will proceed as follows. A small strike force will arrive to confront the Repulse directly and draw its attention. Meanwhile, Alpha Wing will arrive on the far side of the engagement zone and attempt to slip in undetected. The strike force will attempt to distract the Repulse long enough for you to disable and disarm it. Transports will then arrive to board and capture the ship. In addition to the Repulse, reconnaissance reports several freighters, 3 cruisers, and a large dry dock of unknown configuration. The dry dock is unarmed and should pose no threat, but the other ships must be destroyed. Additional units will be deployed to neutralize these threats, but you may be required to assist them once you have completed your objectives. Vesudan forces will blockade the jump notes to Beta Aquila and Ross 128 to prevent any ships from escaping. Exercise care during this mission, pilots. The Repulse is commanded by Admiral Marcus Glade, the highest-ranking field officer in R&D. You can be sure that he will deploy the most capable forces, including his Loki-class stealth fighters, to defend his position. Although our engineers are searching for a weakness in the Loki stealth technology, their efforts have so far proven unsuccessful. Regardless of the situation, you must do everything in your power to ensure that this mission succeeds. The security of the GTA may depend on it.
Alpha, maintain your present position. Do not engage until ordered.
Admiral Glaive, you and your fleet have been charged with the crime of high treason against the Galactic Terran Alliance. Surrender your vessels, or be destroyed.
You're hardly in a position to be making demands, Captain. Do you really expect us to back down against a mere 2 cruisers?
We have more backup in transit, Admiral. You can save yourself the trouble by powering down now.
Captain, be reasonable. The fleet has been wiped out, and we've lost all contact with Earth. Fighting against us is futile.
Surrender or be destroyed. This is your final warning.
I'm after this. All fighters, engage and destroy the Allied warships.
The Lokis are breaking off to engage the cruisers. Now's your chance, Alpha. Disable the Repulse before they notice you.
Attacking your target.
Roger that, sir.
We've secured the dock point, Command. Now boarding the Repulse. Squad 1 reporting. Auxiliary systems override successful. All turbo lifts have been locked down. We are now en route to the flight deck. Amounts of missiles. Calling in a support ship.
GTC Bangalore now on station. Assuming defensive position.
I'm on it. Affirmative, sir. Engaging enemy. Command, we have taken control of the hangar bay. Awaiting further orders.
Acknowledged. Now deploying Sigma and Tau wings. Good work, pilots. Our Marines can take it from here. Return to base.
I'm out of here.
Excellent work, pilots. Our forces executed a clean sweep of the battle area. Despite heavy resistance, we managed to capture the Repulse and destroy its cruiser escort. The Fasudans report that all ships attempting to escape the system were neutralized by the blockades. Unfortunately, we were unable to capture Admiral Glaive himself. While you were distracted by Transport Omega, a single Hermes escape pod left the Repulse's hangar and jumped to an unknown location. Attempts to track the pod have so far proven unsuccessful. However, intelligence believes the interrogation of the Repulse's crew will provide us with sufficient information to plan our next move. At present, we have determined that the Repulse was not rendezvousing at a rallying point as we had initially assumed, but rather guarding a shipyard in the process of being evacuated. Freighters had been moving supplies out of the area for several days, and the dry dock was being rigged to self-destruct. The dry dock itself is something of an enigma. Although it is constructed of standard Polaris modules, no designs exist for a configuration of this size and scope. Scans indicate that the dry dock was recently occupied by a large vessel, but all maintenance and repair records have been erased. Quite what this means at this point is unknown. The command has urged us to continue our investigation with caution.